welcome to the DJ Henderson podcast. Today's guest is a very dear friend of mine. Throughout his early years, he was mainly a baseball and football player. As my high school teammate, we led our team together as seniors to a district championship and a deep playoff run. He currently is a walk-on at the University of Central Florida. Ryan Anders, welcome to the show, bro.
Appreciate you having me on.
Of course, it's an honor to have you, my guy Ryan, on here. Tell everybody where you're from, talk about your upbringing and how things were in your house coming up.
Well, I was born in Tampa. Then I moved to Dallas when I was about 2, and I was there for about 6 years, and that's kind of where I started playing, baseball, football, basketball, all the sports, and then moved back to Tampa when I was about 8 years old. Lived there for the past 10 years, and then on to UCF. Now I'm living in Orlando. Kind of my journey through life so far.
Yes, sir. Growing up, you played basketball, but mostly you played football and baseball, right?
Yeah, I played football until about 4th or 5th grade, but yeah, it was mostly baseball, kind of going through middle school and then the start of high school.
So baseball was really your first love?
Yeah, pretty much. That was kind of the sport that I played all the time.
So when did you decide that you wanted to pursue basketball more so than baseball?
I think just kind of in high school, I think all the travel ball and, baseball in Florida is year round, and it kind of became less fun for me in a way. And, basketball, I was just kind of doing it, just one season. And then, in high school, you kind of do it during the summer as well. And I just had, more fun playing basketball because you're kind of out there on the floor all the time. And high school, I kind of got delegated to just being a pitcher. And so, you kind of just, not that it wasn't fun, but you're kind of out there for 2-3 innings at a time. And then you come off and then you just kind of in the dugout for the rest of the game. It's not as much action. And, I need action, for me to stay involved. So, basketball, it's just a fast-paced game. So I kind of migrated to more being towards that.
Got you. So after middle school, you ended up going to Wharton High School. What was it like when you first got to Wharton? What was your experience like?
Well, there's all the rumors, especially about Wharton. If you're from Tampa, you know them. I remember my first day being dropped off. My mom told me not to get shanked when I got out of the car.
Wow.
So that kind of just shows what people's thoughts about it are. But Wharton to me was a great place. It's kind of where I found what I wanted to do, and people that were able to help me get to where I am today. Some of my greatest friends were made there, and some of the teachers I have, I still have relationships with today. Coach Sedelli, I wouldn't be where I am without him and all that he's done for me as well. So, Wharton definitely has helped me where I've gotten in life.
I think, there are a lot of, preconceived notions about Wharton High School, but, I think it's whatever you make of it, really. If you go to school, just looking to learn, looking to work hard, just get your grades, and just whatever the case.
Yeah, it was definitely a small percentage of the population there gave people the thoughts of what it was, but that's not what it was at all.
Yeah, I think Wharton's a great school. I just think in life in general, it is what you make of it. So if you go to school with the right mindset, then it's just school. But
right.
Of course, it's a very large school, so things happen, but it is what it is. I'm glad that I went to Wharton. Tell everybody about how we met when you first came to basketball tryouts. Like you touched on earlier, you were playing baseball originally, but talk about coming to basketball tryouts for the first time.
Well, at first I didn't even really want to go try out in the beginning. My mom kind of forced me into doing it, but because it was, Wharton has a very popular basketball program. I remember JV tryouts, there were probably 60, 80 people there, and it was just very intimidating because, I didn't think I was up to the same level as, some of the other kids that were there. But, I really just thought baseball was kind of my thing, and that's what I was going to stick with. So I kind of just went in, whatever happens, happens. And then, luckily I made the first cut and then was able to make the second cut as well.
For everybody out there, this man Ryan came to basketball tryouts, low cut socks, no socks almost, wearing basketball shoes. He had blisters on his feet.
I don't even think I had basketball shoes on.
I don't even know if he had basketball shoes on. He was you could definitely tell he wasn't a basketball player, but you could for sure tell that he knew the game and he always played hard. So it was kind of easy to see that he made the team. It wasn't really surprising to me once I saw him play at tryouts and stuff like that he made the team.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So after the tryout, you made JV, and then from there you just continued to play throughout high school. We were teammates for 4 years. Talk about how we grew as teammates, as friends, and our high school experience on the court.
I think I remember, after the first cut, there were 16, 17 people there, and I didn't really know anybody, but I think you were kind of the first one to kind of come up and introduce yourself, and that kind of just made me more comfortable being in that environment. And then, as you said, being teammates for 4 years, you just grow together. We both advanced to varsity our sophomore year, so we were both doing part-time JV, part-time varsity sophomore year. That was, I think, really hard. Just the level of involvement that was, involved in that. I think we kind of just had that mutual respect for each other. All the work we were putting in for that. And then I know sophomore and junior year, you'd always come over before the varsity game. So, that just kind of grew it even more. Definitely some fun times.
A lot of fun times. Over those years, we definitely became real close. Shout out to Miss Dana for always looking after me, taking care of me,
Your bedroom?
Yeah, I had a bedroom over there at the Henderson residence. So, yeah, shout out to Miss Dana again. You touched on it earlier about how important Coach Sedelli was to you, but kind of elaborate on what he means to you and how he helped you as a player and as a person throughout high school.
He just, obviously he gave me the chance to be a part of that team. He kind of took a chance on me. So just, I kind of owe everything that I am in terms of basketball related now. I kind of owe it to him, for giving me that chance in the first place. And then, working the summer camps with him, we just kind of grew closer together. He grew more respect for me and I grew more respect for him. And then he kind of introduced me to the UCF coaching staff and got me involved with the team over there. So, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at, if it wasn't for his help and, just how he's been able to see me grow, but then also help me grow along those lines of, just being in high school. And then as I've gone on to college as well, I kind of talk to him every other week, just kind of checking in. He checks in on me, and it's just, we still have that relationship today.
That's good to hear. I don't talk to Coach every other week, but pretty much anytime he texts me or I text him, it's always a good conversation. He always answers, always looking to help, willing to help with anything he can help with. He definitely made an impact on me too, just getting just the mental part of the game from him. A lot of it becoming a better player, a more mature player, definitely mean a lot to me too. What was our senior year on the court like to you? What was the experience like for you from the start to the finish?
It was just a great experience all the way through. I think we kind of had, that hope coming into the season that, we could go far. Just from the season before, we kind of had a really tough schedule. Obviously, the state champions were in our district. So, just going into next year thinking, we could beat them, and we knew we could beat them. And then I think going into that summer, we had a really good summer going into the year as well. So just the aspirations we had going into it. And then I think just throughout the year, we kind of gained more trust in each other as a team, and we kind of, played more together. even through the wins and then I think through the losses as well, we kind of picked each other up. We didn't blame each other. I think we all kind of knew we had a responsibility in it, and we each had to do our own thing to fix that. We didn't put the blame on other people and then kind of think we didn't have an issue with it. We all knew what we needed to do to get to where we want to go, and then we obviously reached certain levels of that, in the districts, and then again the regional semis, obviously didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but we made it far, and it was a lot of fun the entire way.
I definitely agree. Coming into the season, it was a lot about just beating Sickles, really. Like, we had lost to them 3 times the year before.
Nope.
I think probably by 20 points about each time we played them the year before. So, like, for me personally, it was just a bitter taste in my mouth because obviously you don't like losing at any time, but losing to the same team like multiple times and then them going on to win the state championship, like, that made me want to just come into the season ready to play. And I think, like, we had a very good year. I think we probably could have went a little farther. We probably could have won our last game that we lost, but overall we had a good experience and we made a good playoff run for sure. You touched on it earlier about how Coach Sedelli helped you get in contact with the UCF coaching staff. Talk to me about what your original plan was heading to UCF and what ended up happening.
Yeah, I kind of just, when I first got there after high school, I didn't really have any big plans of playing in college or anything. I thought my career was over, but I still wanted to be involved in basketball. So I went there. Asked if they could get me in touch with them. I wanted to be a manager, just be a part of the program, help out however I could. So first got there, I think the first week in fall, just helped out with the practice, and then I think it was the second workout. The managers were playing a pickup after. I just joined in for a half, and then I had to go to class. But in that half, apparently we were playing with one of our assistant coaches, Kevin Norris. Apparently, I impressed him enough for him to talk to our director of ops about me and try to get me a walk-on spot. So I'm just incredibly thankful to him for, allowing me to be in that position. It's definitely been a blessing so far to be able to be a part of the team and, do things that I wouldn't be able to do if I was a manager. Like, I know we want to talk about it later, but, going to March Madness and, playing against Zion, RJ Barrett, Cam Reddish, that Duke team, and, also being part of the team that got its first ever NCAA tournament win. So, just being able to be part of the team has been great.
So you just told the story about how you became a walk-on after originally planning to be a manager for the program at UCF. Just tell people how important it is to just cherish your opportunities and be ready for your opportunities, because growing up, you always hear you never know who's watching, but your story is a literal case of not knowing who's watching and you seize in the moment. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's just, I think the lesson in that is, just always carry yourself by, how you want others to see you. I think I wouldn't be in the position I am today if I didn't, carry myself in a way that kind of resonated, that I could be a part of the program and add value to it. Obviously, they saw that in me without, me having to prove it. So I think just my message for not just people who want to be in my position, but, just for people in general is just, I think, as you said, you never know who's watching. You never know who can help you get to where you want to go. So just, you never dilute in the fact that anybody can help you if you allow them to. And, I think people say, be nice to everybody, but, I think that's really a thing. Everybody can add value to anybody. Just, it depends on the way you see it. It might not be in the way you think it's going to happen, but I think just building relationships is a big key in life to being successful.
Being kind and courteous, just being a good person overall, I feel like it definitely could take you a long way. It could get you on doors that usually wouldn't be open for somebody that may not be displaying good character. But I totally agree with what you said there. So day to day, you practice, you work out, you do everything with the team. What is it like just competing every day against high level players?
I remember, man, the first day I practiced, we were doing this one drill, and I go against Coach Dawkins. You know, he's playing overseas now. He's 5 years older than me at the time, I think. And I mean, he just blows past me. That was kind of my welcome to the league moment at that, in those terms. But, you know, those guys, they put in so much work, and they have so much just natural ability. And then, you know, they put in the work to be able to play at that level. And I think freshman year, just being able to see those guys, you know, the ability that they're able to play at, is just, it's crazy. You know, just going from high school to that level, is insane. It's a whole different ball game. The speed that everybody has, you know, you're running up and down the court faster than ever. Everybody's able to make shots. You know, everybody's bigger. You know, I played center in high school, and I go on the court, and I'm a foot smaller than the tallest person there. Obviously, that doesn't happen. And at every team, you know, we have Taco Fall, you know, special case, obviously. But, I mean, Chad Brown, you know, he's a guy who's 6'9", 250. He's huge. Colin Smith, he was 6'11", you know, a couple more guys. You know, B.J. Taylor, I remember, you know, he drives in the lane. He's 6 foot, but he's stocky. I mean, he just bullies right past me. You know, he's just built. Just the different athletes that those guys are, and then, you know, just the level of ability they're able to play at was just kind of astounding to see.
At Wharton, we played with our guy Darren Green for 3 years. We watched him develop into a high-level player that he is now today. What has it been like for you personally, just developing a relationship and just seeing him grow from a freshman in high school to now a sophomore in college?
Man, you know, that's my guy. I think just the biggest thing I've seen in him is just how his confidence has grown at every level. You know, just coming in as obviously a freshman in high school, you know, he wasn't playing that much, and then he just gets thrown in at the end of the season. I think, you know, his freshman year, and he's able to produce. And then, you know, going on to start his sophomore and junior year in our high school team, you know, he just gets better year after year after year. You know, the same thing coming into college. You know, he comes in his freshman year in the summer. You know, he's playing a little timid. I mean, it's like I said, it's a whole new game. You know, you got to get adjusted. But once he got comfortable with it, just, I mean, the level that he was able to play at just grew. You know, you could see it day by day, game by game, you know, just how he was able to go out and just do something different every game. I think the beginning of the season, you know, I mean, he was playing good, but I think he was playing not as confident and not to the ability he was able to. But, you know, once we got into conference, you know, I think, you know, when we played Tulsa, you know, you kind of saw that, you know, he 22 points. I think he went 6 or 7 from 3, something like that. I mean, just his ability as a shooter, just whenever he's open, I mean, he's going to find his way to get open, and then he's going to make it. And then, you know, coming into this year, you know, he's trying to step in and be a leader, as he needs to be. So just seeing his growth as not just a player, but as a leader as well, and as a person, obviously, too. You know, he's a great person. But, you know, just his development has been, you know, I'm just lucky I'm being able to see it all the way through. And then, you know, 6 years of playing with a guy, you obviously get comfortable with him. So it's been great to see.
People always ask me, oh, is he really good enough to be declaring for the NBA draft, or do you really think he's going to make it to the NBA? And the answer every time is yes. Like, the amount of work that he puts into his game, people never will understand unless they've seen it live in action.
Yeah. The work he puts in behind the scenes is ridiculous. You know, there's a reason he's able to shoot that way for a reason. You know, it's all the hours that he puts in.
This is your junior year at UCF. Talk to me about being a student athlete, and what are some of the most challenging parts about being a student athlete?
think, just the most challenging thing is, just trying to balance, everything between academics and athletics. There's sometimes when you're in the season, you're spending 50, 60 hours between the both of them combined, between, lifting and on the court and film and, getting recovery and treatment and all that. That's about 30 hours of the week. And then, preparing for exams or assignments or whatever you got to do, that's another 20, 30 hours. And, it's definitely a grind and you just have to be prepared for it. Time management, I think you kind of hear that from every student athlete, but it's obviously a key. You got to create a schedule and follow it, or else, you're not going to be successful in what you want to do. And then also, I think, just the sacrifices you have to make to be a part of a team and a program. We're not able to do the things, most college students are able to. You want to go out on the weekends and stuff like that. We're not able to. Just the social life in general. I think, you gotta, what hours you would spend, being in a fraternity or going out and doing those kinds of things. You're spending on the court. You're spending doing your schoolwork. So just the balance between athletics and academics. And then I think the sacrifices you have to make to be a student athlete in general are definitely the hardest things that I've seen in my years here. What about you?
I would say the same. It's just balancing your time. Really, it's time management at the end of the day. You covered it all, honestly. Like, you just have to decide what's really important. Like, obviously everybody has a different amount of dedication to their sport or a different dedication to their craft, their education. Like, it's just whatever you decide to prioritize, that's what you'll become good at. Whatever you put your time into is what you'll be successful at. So if you're a student athlete and you feel like going out and having a social life is more important than your grades and your sport, then you'll probably have a lot of friends and you'll lack in the classroom and on the court. It's just how it goes. It's pretty simple, honestly. Time management, you'll hear it over and over from student athletes, but it's really the most important thing, the most important asset I could think of, really, that you can have. What is your relationship with Coach Dawkins, and how has it grown since you've been there from your freshman year to now?
I think, when I first got there, I was kind of, I don't want to say intimidated, but, he's definitely like a big figure. You don't realize it, but, he played at Duke. He kind of started the Duke legacy that's still going on today. He played the NBA for 9 years and just, but I think we've just grown, I think, a mutual respect for each other. He knows what I bring, just to practice every day. I'm going to work hard and given the opportunity. And then I know off the court, I'm not going to do anything to hurt the program or hurt the team. And so I think he just respects that out of me. I think for him, he's definitely one of the greatest teachers I've had in terms of basketball. You play for that long, you pick up things, obviously. So just his ability to see the game and translate it to us, whether it's in the film room or on the court, has, just been crazy to see just the level of insight that he gives, just the small things that you don't see, he sees and he's able to translate it to us and how it works into the bigger picture. Attention to detail is a huge thing for him, the drills that we do in practice at the beginning. And then just how in the film room, he'll say, all right, this drill, it translates to what we do here. And then, he'll show examples from in the game, oh, well, this is this drill. And then another, bad thing from what happens in the game, oh, well, this is this drill. And then you just don't think about it. But then, he's able to tell you directly how it translates. And I think just his calm demeanor too. I know we didn't mention this about Sedelli, but, he has that reputation of being the guy who he's going to yell at you if you do something wrong. You just kind of expect that out of him. But, Dawkins is kind of, different in that regard. And, he has a much more calm demeanor. He's not going to yell at you unless you're making the same mistake over and over again. He's just going to tell you what you did wrong and, you know, what you need to improve on. So just, you know, he's been a great coach for the 2 years. And, you know, I know that, you know, we're still going to have a relationship even after I leave.
I can tell that pretty much everything that you said is all facts, because before he got there, I can't even tell you who was UCF's coach or really too many of their players. But since he's got there, like, I've seen UCF like turn into like really like a high major, like a program. Like, there's a culture there. You could tell that his players like are buying into whatever he has to say. I think it plays a big part, like, that he was a high level player, so he knows like what you guys are probably thinking and going through. Like, so I definitely can tell that he's building a program there, a nice culture there, and you guys are a part of it as well.
Yeah, he definitely, you know, garners respect out of all of us. You know, he played at that level, so, you know, most of our guys want to get to that level. And I mean, he says that all the time. You know, you got to master the college game before you can go on to professional. So, you know, he obviously has experience in doing that. So, you know, just everything he says, you know, has some kind of wisdom to it. You just got to pick up on it.
Last year, in the second half of the season, coronavirus came and took the world by storm. What was it like when you guys found out that the season was going to be suspended for the rest of the year?
I mean, we were in the locker room of our conference tournament when that happened, and just, you know, it was just kind of depressing at the time. We had kind of built up some momentum going into that tournament. You know, we thought we had a real chance of winning our conference and making it back to the NCAA tournament. But just, obviously, you know, everything unfolded the way it did. I think I felt most, not just for me, but, you know, for the seniors, you know, on our team, realizing, you know, that was going to be their final collegiate game, and they didn't even realize it, you know, the game before. So I just felt sad for them. I mean, it was just kind of all crazy how everything, you know, went down. You know, I think the NBA canceled everything the night before. You know, we kind of had that looming effect that, you know, everything kind of for us was going to get shut down. So I think in a way we were prepared for it, but, you know, it was just such a wild way to end the season that it was just kind of like, I don't think we really like knew what to do. You know, obviously, you know, our seniors, you know, they're getting on the bus crying because, you know, that's like, it was just really sad just to see, you know, that's the way it ends. I mean, for them. So it was sad just to see everything in that way.
When all that started to happen, we had just lost in our playoffs the game before we got a chance to go to the state championship. So, like, I'm kind of glad that we lost on our own terms versus it just like us making it to the playoffs and it getting canceled, because I know that would have hurt. Like, it would have hurt me for sure.
Yeah, we were about to play USF too, so you know that rivalry.
For sure.
You know, we were ready to get at them.
So your freshman year, you guys did make the tournament. You touched on it earlier. All the high level players that you guys had on the team. What was it like making the NCAA tournament, getting the program's first NCAA tournament win? And also, what was it like playing against Duke and Zion Williamson, Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, those guys?
I mean, just the atmosphere in like the arena during those games is just completely different. I mean, you can feel it. You know, it's one game. You know, everything's on the line. It could be your last game, or you can move on to the next. I think against VCU, you know, we had the confidence that we could go in, and, you know, we thought we could go all the way, you know, win the whole thing. We thought we had the guys to do it. You know, that first win was really special. You know, like you said, our first win in our program history. Just creating that history with that team was something special. You know, we had fans traveling up to that game, you know, just singing the alma mater after the win, celebrating with, you know, our supporters, you know, the people that were able to make it up there. It was just a special feeling. And then, as you said, we played Duke the next game. That was probably one of the bigger games I think people can remember from that tournament. I have people all the time, if I go up to them, I tell them I play for UCF, they mention that game. And generally like, oh, man, we were rooting for you guys. We were watching. I think a lot of people were rooting for us that game. But just I think to be able to be, on the same court with those level of players, the guys that they had was, I think, crazy. And not just that we were in that game the entire time. And that, I think we should have beat them, but that's a story for a different day. But, just it was just heartbreaking to go down like that. But you kind of look back on it like, we almost beat one of the best teams in the nation. We should have beat one of the best teams in the nation. It's just kind of all a special experience looking back at it. It's something I definitely will never forget.
Man, I couldn't even imagine what the energy was like, because I remember I was watching the game on TV. I had to check my dog out. But
Yes,
I was watching the game for like throughout I watched the whole game. It was a close game the whole game. I definitely was on the edge of my seat. I like when they were in college, I was a Cam Reddish fan. I just like his game. But I was definitely rooting for you guys. Like, I was rooting for a little bit of both, but I was rooting for y'all because you were on the team. But it was a great game. I really wish that y'all did win though, because that would have been pretty crazy to advance in the tournament. Like, after that game, like at that point, it's kind of in the NCAA tournament is almost anybody's trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's about whoever comes, executes, and comes ready to play that night. But
you think about it, the year before our tournament, Loyola made it to the Final Four that year, 11 seed. So it's not too crazy of an aspiration to think you can make it that far. Obviously teams have done it before, and I think, we had, I think, special players on our team to get there. Obviously we have Taco. I think you're not able to simulate that in a practice. You're not playing anybody like that. Like during their season, they're not playing anybody like Taco. He was just a special talent. So I think we really had a chance to go far, and just, it was just kind of crazy, that game, just that ending. But yeah, it was something for sure.
So this year things are pretty different with coronavirus and things like that. But what's your mindset, and what are you looking forward to this season coming up?
I think, last year, wasn't our best year, but, like I said earlier, we were gaining momentum towards the end of the season. We had guys who had never really played with each other, but I think we were kind of finding that groove. And then I think just going into this year, kind of just keeping the energy, the same confidence that we had at the end of last year. I think we've added some high-level guys. We got Darius Perry, transfer from Louisville, a guy he's been at those stages that we want to go to. We got CJ Walker, a 5-star transfer, if he gets his waiver, which I think he will. But I think just the guys from last year that we have coming back, and then, also the guys that we're bringing in as well. I think all the pieces, we're going to be able to do a lot of different things on both sides, on offense and defense. And I think it can definitely be another special year for us. I think we can make it back to the tournament.
I like what I see over there at UCF. A lot of key pieces, a lot of big time incoming recruits. So I think that you guys definitely have a shot to get back to where you were your freshman year on that big stage.
For sure.
If Corona lets you guys.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, man. It'll be interesting to see how it all works out, but I'm hopeful we'll be able to play this year, and then if we get that far and there is a tournament, then I hope we'll be in it. So
same here. They moved our season back to January, so it's kind of just like,
oh, really? I didn't know that.
Wow. It's like hoping every day that we make it to that point to even get to playing games, and it's just a lot of uncertainty, but I just been trying to stay positive, keep a clear head, just keep working hard as if there was no Corona, so that I'll be prepared when the season starts.
Yeah.
What's your why? What makes you decide to wake up every morning and continue to just go hard and keep chasing success?
I think for me personally, I kind of have big goals for after I leave UCF. I want to work in basketball, stay in it, work for NBA team, hopefully, get to be a general manager one day. That's the ultimate dream. So I think just knowing, that's not going to come lightly. You got to put the work in to be able to do that. So it starts at college, building the relationships, not only that I have with Coach Dawkins and the rest of our staff, but also the players we have, the different professors I have. And then I think, just trying to learn something new every day that, can help me not just get to those goals, but just help me in life overall.
If you could give one piece of advice to somebody that's trying to make it in whatever field in life, what would you tell them?
I think my biggest piece of advice would just, to be yourself. There's nobody who can be you better than you. What you want to do, you're not going to be able to do it unless you take the initiative to do it. I think a lot of people try to imitate people that have come before them, which isn't always a bad thing, but you got to create your own path as well. Everything's not just going to be, cookie cut. You just got to do the same thing as everybody else. There's going to be, everybody takes a different road in life. And I think it's just finding what your road is. And I think just finding what you need to do to go down that road and just be successful as possible.
Wise words from Ryan Enders.
Thank you.
I think what you said is important. Staying true to yourself, knowing yourself, just being you. Because like you said, nobody can be you or do what you do better than yourself. So I definitely agree with that. Now we're going to do the speed round just to wrap things up.
See how I do.
All right. What's your number one thing to do in your free time?
Watch whatever sporting event's on, and if it's not that, I'm probably playing 2K.
What is it like being a Cowboys fan?
Depressing at the moment. I mean, oh man, rough start to the year, but they're gonna pick it back up. I believe in them.
What's your major at UCF?
Business economics with a minor in sports management.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
To fly so that I could get everywhere faster.
What are your top 3 favorite movies of all time?
Let's see. The Other Guys, Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell. It's a great one. The Longest Yard. It's kind of an underrated one, I think. And then I feel like I need to pick a superhero one. The Dark Knight. It's great.
Dark Knight. That's a solid 3, right? That's a solid 3. Who's been the biggest influence on your life this far?
My mother, definitely.
Shout out to Miss Dana.
Shout out Miss Dana.
If you could meet and spend a day with 3 people dead or alive, who would they be and why?
I think one would be Daryl Morey, the GM of the Rockets, because I think I think his opinions on basketball would be kind of interesting to see. Obviously, he kind of created this new age of analytics in basketball. And then, also what they decided to do this year was something nobody's ever done before. So just kind of his thought process in terms of kind of why he wanted to do that would be interesting. And then obviously, he's in a position where I want to be in life. Let's see, who else? Dak Prescott. That's my guy. And then Abraham Lincoln. He'd be a cool person to spend some time with. Just be a chill dude,
Honest Abe?
Honest Abe.
If you could go back and tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would you tell yourself?
Dream big. That's what I would tell.
Dream big. You guys heard it here, Ryan Anders. I want to say thank you, bro, for being a part of this. My guy, my brother. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Ryan_Anders on Instagram. Not sure what my Twitter handle is, but if you search Ryan Andrews, I bet you'll find me.
For sure. Ryan, again, thank you, bro. And I'll see you guys on the next episode.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.